The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and not of DoD or any of its components.
Take me to the countryside. Gotta get out of these city lights. Drinking my cup, got me feeling right.
What's going on, everybody? It's been a little while. It's Dean with the Rising Sun podcast. I'm actually here in DC on a walkabout today. I've logged about 5 miles, walking up on the Jefferson Memorial now, just left the FDR Memorial. And, it's just wanted to get on here and kind of talk about some things. So I've hit basically every memorial. I mean, I've been coming to DC for the last 20 years for work, and honestly never had time to just get out and walk the whole mall and see all of the monuments and memorials. And I finally got a chance today. And I'll tell you, man, it really kind of brought some things home for me. So letting the aircraft fly over. There we go. Yeah, I just, especially there at the World War II Memorial, and I'll put all these pictures up on my social media, on the Rising Sun podcast Instagram, so you can see them. But especially when I was at the World War II Memorial, and you're looking down the reflecting pond, and at the Lincoln Memorial, and then the Washington Monument is right behind you, and you know that the Capitol is just down the street, and it just reminds me that that we have a wonderful country. We really do. And there's a lot of negative things you could say about DC, the wealth that's accumulated here over the years, and just the way that the government functions or doesn't function sometimes. But at the end of the day, those of us in uniform, what we have volunteered to defend and support, the Constitution of the United States of America, is really embodied in this city, and in these monuments that celebrate our heroes and our founding fathers, and kind of what the spirit of America is. So I'm going to finish up. I'm going to finish this up. I still got, probably 3 or 4 miles to go. I'll hit the Jefferson Memorial, and then after I'm done with the Jefferson Memorial, I'll head over to walk down by the Smithsonian and the African American History Museum, and then I'll go over to the Navy Memorial, and then I might get back on when I'm over by the Capitol, because I think that's first of all, that's one of the places I've actually been to, not inside unfortunately, but I am going to walk over there, and then I'll walk over to the Supreme Court as well. So I hit all 3 branches, right? Walked by the White House earlier, so that was good. Regardless of who the inhabitant is, took a picture of one of the quotes from FDR, and basically what he said was, that he lived in a house that's owned by the people. So regardless of who the occupant at the time is, it's an important place. Anyways, if I seem kind of somber, it's because I am. I'm really taking it all in today. It's a beautiful day. It's in the 70s here in DC. And I just happen to have a day, built in. Conference doesn't start till tomorrow, so had a day to get out and about and and see everything and just kind of reflect on it. So probably do this in 2 takes, and I'll hop back on probably over by the Navy Memorial, or maybe at the Capitol. So, all right, love your country, I do. And if you didn't vote, well, you don't really have shit to say, do you? So, until next time, out. What's going on, everybody? Well, about 9 miles in now, and looks like my DC walkabout's just about done, so I'm gonna head back out to Leesburg, which is where we're having the convention starting tomorrow with Naval Sea Systems Command. For those of you that aren't tracking, I started a new job at Ship Repair Facility, Japan Regional Maintenance Center. That's SRF for those old heads that remember before the JRMC title came on board. In any case, yeah, just finishing up my DC walkabout, and I wanted to kind of close this episode out of the R-Check. So, walking around, a few impressions. So I just left the steps of the Capitol, and there it is behind me, obviously. And I also walked across the street and walked up the steps of the United States Supreme Court, and went to the Navy Memorial, had a beer over at one of the local spots, and it's been just a great day. You know, like I said, though, some of the impressions, I think I talked to Eric about this one time, feels like sometimes you get close to these buildings that they're kind of built for giants. The doors are enormous, and they just are really impressive feats of architecture. Obviously, they have a very Roman feel to them, with the big columns and the granite construction, but just beautiful buildings. I will say one thing that makes me kind of sad is seeing all the barricades around these buildings that belong to the people, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't get into the whole January 6th thing. It's not worth talking about. I think enough people talk about that, but I will say that it's just kind of sad to see the state of security in our nation's capital that don't allow kind of unfettered access to be closer to these buildings. At the same time, I do understand it, but it just is kind of unfortunate. Another impression that I kind of walk away with is just that I feel like everybody should have the opportunity to come here. I think that it would make a lot of difference if every high school kid could spend 3 or 4 days in DC, get a tour of the Capitol, go to the White House, kind of do the same walkabout I did today, but maybe take a little more time, spend some time in the Smithsonian museums, things of that nature. I think it's important. Kind of regret that I've never brought my kids here. We've been in Japan so long, and even when we were in the States, they were just too little. I don't think they really would have got it, but definitely going to make a priority to bring my kids here, because I think they deserve to understand what Washington, D.C. is, and just how beautiful of a city it could be, and how beautiful city it is, and what it means to us as Americans. I'm feeling very patriotic, and I think that's another thing that I'm walking away with. I spend so much time in Japan, the land of the rising sun, that you get a little out of touch with things like this sometimes, and that's unfortunate. But I'm walking away today with a renewed sense of purpose for serving my country and protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States. So anyways, I think that's it. I'm going to wrap it up, go get on the metro and start heading back. I really enjoyed my time today, though. Thought it was fantastic. And like I said, if you get a chance, and some of y'all, live around this area, if you get a chance, come spend the day. And I'll be honest with you, if for those of you in uniform, maybe take the day by yourself. Take the day by yourself so you don't, get stuck with teenage kids that are just looking for a Starbucks sometimes. And just kind of soak it all in and try to understand what it's all about. All right, that's it from our nation's capital. This is the Rising Sun, Dean Howe, signing off. Later, y'all.